What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Tinker Hatfield footwear design is the focus on season 1, episode 2 of Abstract, the show on Netflix that features different artists and how they apply their art to different things in different fields. And this one's about shoe design. And I myself am not into fashion. I do not care. It is not something that interests me in general. I mean, it's interesting to a point, but I've never been into any kind of fashion in any way. I've never had I mean, there have been times in my life, I guess, later on where I've had money and could actually afford, trendy clothes or whatever. But most of my life, including currently, haven't really had a whole lot of funds to spend on clothes, let alone, whatever the trend, fashion, whatever was. So, but I have had friends that are into shoes. I understand the passion for shoes or clothing or whatever. It does interest me on that level, and listening to and watching this episode definitely is much more of a expression of that. And so going into it, I didn't know who Tinker Hatfield was. The episode starts off with somebody showing a picture of him to quote-unquote urban youth out on the streets, and everybody knew his name. He's very popular in the shoe world. And so it was fun to watch this episode. Also, it's the whole, he's somebody that comes from athletics himself, and got into shoes, but just the idea of shoes as far as from a standpoint of clothing wise, it's one of the more important pieces of clothing that you put on because it connects you to the world. You're on your feet. Most people are on their feet a lot of times, unless you have like an office job, I guess. But people are on their feet a lot. I mean, I've used to have a lot of foot problems. I worked at Costco selling electronics. So standing on concrete for 8 to 9 hours a day wreaks havoc on your feet. It's not very comfortable. And Tinker came from an aspect of primarily designing something that worked well, that was functional over, and then the aesthetics almost came second, it felt like. And it's an interesting kind of blend in where it's functional art, obviously. I mean, a lot of these shows or a lot of the episodes in Abstract deal with functional art. And this one's kind of the first foray into that. And seeing him in his journey where he went to go work for Nike, not having any real experience, but coming up with, I think he just came up with a bunch of ideas, and they hired him on the spot. He got put on the Jordan shoe, the Air Jordan shoe franchise. I guess it became a franchise, but he designed most, I don't know if he did all of them. Eventually he left the Jordan line because he just got burnt out. I mean, after doing so many different versions of the Jordan shoe, he ended up getting burnt out. But he also was part of the Back to the Future shoe design of with the automatic laces, and him kind of getting into the technology of that as being more of a passion and an obsession with him, kind of merging new technology in a lot of ways into a science fiction idea and trying to develop something that could be used in the real world. So super interesting, kind of both of those aspects of his life and his career. I mean, just being able to work with Michael Jordan in itself is a big thing. I was a huge Michael Jordan fan. I was into basketball during the Chicago Bulls championship reign their runs that they went on, the 2-3 year runs they went on while Jordan was part of the team. And then, in between when he played baseball, I kind of, I think my teams around then were like the Houston Rockets. I think had done pretty well. Maybe the Phoenix Suns, I think maybe were like kind of my temporary teams until Jordan came back. But just kind of amazing. And the first Jordan shoe, how it was built for comfort, how he wanted it to feel like it was already broken in, yet still have support, kind of influencing Nike into doing the Nike Air shoes where you could see the actual air pockets, which was kind of a new idea, adding that extra air cushion. But shoes in general, for me, are a highly functional piece of my life. I've been looking for minimal type of shoes that I enjoy. I used to wear shoes that the bottom were basically like sandal bottoms, like just your regular kind of flip-flop bottoms, but then there was a canvas top. Used to wear shoes like that, just very lightweight, very minimal. You don't get the arch that you get with a lot of shoes, an unnatural arch where you're walking on pillows, which is nice to have that kind of cushioning if you're on your feet a lot. But ever since leaving Costco, I have been on my butt a lot. So the shoes, I want something that's more. I really wanted something that was like a sock that had tread on it. And I actually found shoes that are basically that. I got them on Amazon. They're minimalist shoes. I don't know the name. I can't read it anymore. It's faded away. But I haven't had them for very long. But they're similar to the Vibram 5-finger shoes, except for the toes aren't split up, which I like the Vibram shoes also. It's just that you can't wear socks, so they end up smelling really bad. But these are all the same. It's like, it's got your spandex fit to it, so the top layer is all spandex, and then the bottom layer is just like a thick tread. These are the best shoes, and there's minimal. There's no like arch. There's no thick padding. But as far as lasting longer, I literally before these shoes was experimenting wearing water shoes, which are very lightweight mesh top. Very good breathable, but I like feeling the ground. I really like having the minimal thing. So that's where I'm at with my shoe journey. I don't care. I've designed a pair of shoes in the past, so it's an interesting canvas to do artwork on. But as far as being somebody who wants to collect shoes, like that's not me. It's not me. I've had multiple shoes in the past, but now I just I found a shoe that works best for me, and I really want to stick with it. But it's definitely interesting to see because Hatfield is designing shoes that are like even the way they sell shoes, those Jordan shoes and just high-end shoes in general, they only produce a small amount to kind of bolster this secondary market for shoes, and also drive a huge demand for when the new shoes are released. So it's kind of an interesting way to release shoes in general, releasing shoes almost as if they are pieces of artwork where there's a limited thing, which I don't like that idea, having limited supply to drive demand. Like I get the idea of it, but as somebody that just I want people to have my stuff, it doesn't mesh with me. It's like a business strategy that I can't get behind. But it's interesting to see how that's been a part of like the Nike ecosystem, and how much Tinker Hatfield has contributed. My favorite shoes that he did, the first ones are cool. This is the soft leather and the elephant print. I also really like I think it was the Jordan 20s, I want to say, but they were white shoes, and then there was a flap that went over the front that it looked like tattoo design. It was just like just a black images that all were related to Jordan, and it just had a really simple, clean, cool look to it that I enjoyed. But yeah, so Tinker Hatfield, Footwear Design, for Abstract, Season 1, Episode 2. I really enjoyed it. Go check it out now on Netflix. You will probably like it. I know I did, and I'm not even a shoe guy, so go check it out. And it was really cool also to see how they've tried to develop a real version of those Back to the Future shoes that could actually be used in the world. But yeah, so that's it for this episode. New episodes of this show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at inspireddisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out.